Hello and welcome to HRTV Rewind. I'm Joanne Jones. This week on HRTV, we had a bonus day of racing with Columbus Day, and Barry Abrams made a shocking proposition.
You're planning on running Lethal Heat in the Ladies Classic on Friday, and if all goes well, Wheeler back the very next day in the turf sprint. Please tell us why.
Well, it just thought came to, as well as she ran the other day, and thought came from my mind, hey, I have to pre-enter if we do run the Breeders' Cup and she's 100% and she's okay, we have to pre-enter in 2 races, and my preference would be the sprint down the hill, because obviously she's 2 out of 3, she should be 3 for 3 on that course, and then the other race was the Ladies' Classic, and Zenyatta, if she runs in there, will be a tough foe. So I said, well, if she doesn't run that good against Zenyatta, well, if something happens where she might get in trouble or something, and it's an easy race for her, I might run her right back the next day. What the heck? I want to win the Breeders' Cup. It's here. I mean, some people say maybe it's not the best thing for the horse, but, I go back in history. History of thoroughbred racing, these horses are durable. They can do it. It's been done before. A lot of the greatest trainers in the world have done it. They run back to back, 1.5 mile and 2 mile races in 2 days apart. So it's not something, it's unusual in the modern ages, but it's not unusual in the old times. And, I'm not what people think. That's the way it is. I mean, I do what the best thing is for the horse, number one. And then number 2 is if that's the best thing for the business, I'm going to do that. And, I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I'm thinking about it.
Several winners from Keeneland last week will be making their way to California for the Breeders' Cup come November.
Well, beautiful, picturesque Keeneland Racecourse was host to their opening weekend and Fall Stars weekend here in the Bluegrass. And yes, the Fall Stars did come out for an absolute multitude of stakes races here at Keeneland Racecourse. And of course, with all the Breeders' Cup win and you're in races that took place here over the weekend, a lot of Breeders' Cup contenders could certainly come here from Keeneland. And I was able to catch up with quite a few of the connections over the weekend and see who may or may not be heading out to California.
Yeah, we're going to go back again. Hopefully there's not one as good as Midnight Loot. We don't have to run in 6. But I'm glad he just didn't tug him to the lead like he has in the past. He's able to sit there because, it'd be lovely to sit behind the speed when we get there.
Rajiv was patient, and she's such a smart, classy filly. I mean, she does everything right for us. I mean, really, really a world of class for a 2-year-old. You don't see it. It's rare. If she's fine, we're going. Absolutely.
Yeah, we bought it 2 weeks ago. I mean, we had this race picked out for her. This was the spot. We just wanted to test her around 2 turns and see if she can go 2 turns. And she had beaten Diamond Joe, Forever Together at a 1-turn mile. So the first time you turn them around 2 turns against that kind of quality, you keep your fingers crossed. But she showed up the right way today. I think 6.5 probably makes the most sense down the hill right now.
He's got a lot of turn of foot. He's playing fast. And if Willie, I talked to him, I said, listen, if you get in a speed duel up front and the horse quits, I'm not going to be happy. I think if you're patient with him and you take him back and he gets beat, that's okay. All right, I'll take the heat if that happens, but just be patient the first part of it. And he rode him perfect. We got one in the juvenile turf. Looks like Beautician's come out good. She'll go in the fillies, and hey, this colt ran great today, so here we are.
He's got a big turn of foot, and we're mainly concerned about the turf course being a little soft and how he'd handle that. But once he started creeping up down the backside, I felt good that he was handling it well. That's why we were here. We're hoping to win this one and then move forward to the Breeders' Cup. But if he comes out of it well, we hope to be there.
Well, with so many huge efforts over the entire weekend here at Keeneland, it's very tough to come up with one that I felt was maybe a standout. Certainly a Court Vision, I thought, in the Shadwell Turf Mile with his winning effort in there. Blinkers on for the first time. Grade 1 race. It is a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Mile Turf. So big weekend here at Keeneland. Fall Stars weekend is in the books. And now we'll see who will leave here and head out to California.
Zenyatta is now a perfect 13 for 13 in her brilliant career, and this week's HRTV Diary spotlighted her life.
We're all waiting for the mighty Aphrodite, Zenyatta. Got Jerry Moss here. How nervous are you right now?
Petit peu.
Petit peu.
Petit peu.
Just a little bit nervous. And here she is. I'm here with Andy.
It's very exciting when you get to this point, so...
He's sitting up here in guard of the Mosses. Tension is building.
Congratulations, boss. Thank you.
Do you think they're loud enough? Here she comes. And still. There's Steve and his princess. And Mike's princess. Even you can't what?
I couldn't screw that horse up.
You sure?
Well,
what do you
it's
think?
close. How good would she be if I wasn't galloping her?
Oh my God, there's no telling. She could be.
She beat Secretariat.
Congratulations, Mikey. How are ya?
I'd rather give her.
How good is she?
Oh, she's amazing.
Called out, home to bed. Doesn't look like she ran a lick. She looks fabulous. I just called her queen and she turned around. I mean, she thought I was talking about Kathy Walsh, but I was talking about Zenyatta.
She is.
The queen.
Oh, yeah. She's the treasure. She's the treasure.
The Las Vegas Hilton thinks highly of her as she is the second choice in the Classic Future Pools.
To be honest with you, I think we've got a false favorite with Rip Van Winkle. A number of the wise guys have gotten down on this horse, so he has been bet off the board. I think the second choice we have at Zenyatta is like basically 5-1. I don't think that's a fair price, considering no filly's ever won this race before. But then this has been the kind of year that maybe a mare can do it. But the horses that I like are Gio Ponte, coming back to a racetrack that he's run across and had some success before. I think this Richards kid, don't discount this horse. I thought that was a tremendous race. He has finished third the other day against Gitano Hernando. Hernando is he's a synthetic freak, and he's just been waiting to get healthy to be able to get a race in, and we saw what he's capable of. I don't buy this that he's like a second or third tier horse from Europe. I think he's one of their top horses.
But not to be forgotten is three-time Grade 1 winner Summer Bird and his trainer, Tim Ice.
He travels great. We actually, we flew him this time instead of vanning, but he got off the plane, got into the barn here at Santa Anita, and he looked super. He finished up everything the night we shipped in. He ate all of his feed, so we sent him back to the track yesterday. He jogged 1.5 miles and looked super. So the trip was great. My main concern is just how he settles in and how he gets over the racetrack. But he's been over the racetrack the last 2 days and he looks super. It's a little different morning time and afternoon, so we'll take it a day at a time and just prepare him as well as we can.
Do you have any kind of timeline on when we'd expect to see him work over the surface?
He will work this Saturday, probably right after the break. We'll work him 5 furlongs, and we'll get a gauge on how he's handling it.
What are the instructions you'll give to the rider?
For the work?
For the work, yeah.
Just basically let him go out and stretch his legs. This is going to be his first work back since the Gold Cup, so we're not going to ask him to do a whole lot. Mainly just get a feel for the track, see how he gets over it, and let him get a little air in him, and go from there, and we'll step up his last 2 works.
When HRTV Rewind returns, we remember Breeders' Cup Turf champion Johar.
It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish in the turf. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
And Alex Solis gets taken for a ride.
What are you going to do? You're 50 yards from the wire and you're hanging on for dear life.
Johar was a monkey on the racetrack in the morning, but boy, could he run in the afternoon. You saw him winning the 03 Breeders' Cup Turf in the first Breeders' Cup dead heat in its 20-year history, with High Chaparral to give Richard Mandela a record-breaking 4 Cup races in one day. Well, Johar retired and went to stand at Mill Ridge. He's out of the champion Windsharp and the Bayou, the premier sire of sires gone west. He's had 62 starters, 31 winners, and that includes Kirtana, who's a multiple stakes winner from his first crop.
It's a good thing this race wasn't that close, as Alex Solis nearly fell out of the saddle as he cruises home for the win.
What happened aboard Half a Ponderosa? You won the race. You looked Western style coming over the line. What happened in that last 50 yards?
Well, it was so quiet in the grandstand. I thought I'd get something to cheer about. No, actually, she just shifted just a tiny bit, and right when she did, my right stirrup slipped out of my boot, and my feet came off.
You looked like you were hugging the right side with your boot, and then you quickly shifted over. Did you drop both your feet just because you figured that was the safest way to do it?
I don't know what I did. I just was trying to find something to hold on.
Alex, thank you so much, and good luck with the rest of the night.
Thank you.
All right. Alex Solis, athletic and a winner, guys.
Yeah, all instinct kicking in. Those Panamanians are built strong.
You know, I was afraid that Solis was going to say, I was riding my horse, and all of a sudden I said to myself, well, you know, you take it from there. You know what I'm saying.
That goes back to
myself,
Jeff Siegel's interviewing days at
with your dad.
Hollywood Park. Yeah, we had to ask us about that story off air.
What are you going to do? You're 50 yards from the wire, and you're hanging on for dear life.
From one Hall of Fame jockey to another, Gary Stevens recorded his first career win this weekend. As a trainer, that is.
They come for home now, and it's Silent Stork. Raiding Party's had a tough time finding somewhere to run. Precious Union, here's Higher Incentive with a late run. Higher Incentive coming like an express train on the outside. Raiding Party gets through. Higher Incentive ahead. An unlucky Raiding Party second. Then Silent Stork and Precious Union.
HRTV would like to congratulate our friend and colleague Gary Stevens with his first winner here at Oak Tree at Santa Anita, and his first winner as a trainer. Higher Incentive taking race number 3.
Let's go to the winner's circle and find out how Gary Stevens feels about this victory.
Thanks, John. Well, you know one thing. When a rider gets his first win, he gets pelted with water, shaving cream, and flour. Unfortunately, nobody had the flour or the shaving cream, so they just had to make it water. A couple of the jocks, Tyler Bays and David Flores, pelting you there on a day like this. That was probably welcome.
That was welcome, and my dad called me literally 10 seconds after they crossed the finish line, and pretty special.
Well, take us through that race. First off the bat, you come in from Winning Move Stables, New York operations. Is this the first time they've sent a horse out here?
They had Young Man Scott out here, not Winning Move, but Tony Gray, gracious enough to send this horse out to me. They thought that this filly would love the downhill turf course. She was kind of in between distances on the East Coast. Sent a New York bred out here, all class, 41 starts, and just a complete professional around the barn. And I had a feeling today it was going to be my maiden breaker.
Since Gary has figured out the downhill turf course, here are the ATO boys to give you some insight as to the tricky handicapping at Santa Anita.
We're going to talk a little bit about maybe trying to handicap a little better and try and cash some tickets going down the hillside turf course.
Well, what makes it really unique, Aaron, is the fact that it is right-handed coming by out of the gate, so they have to make a right-hand turn and then a left-hand turn, and they're going downhill.
Sounds like me coming to work.
Right, and then crossing the dirt. So, you know, that's a pretty severe turn. It doesn't look that way in the pan, but if you go up there and look at that turn, it is tough. And, of course, the outside draw has a little bit of an edge there because they're the first ones to make that right-hand turn, and then they switch over to the left. So they kind of cross over down the hill, and all the while, the jockeys are trying to save ground. They're trying to make sure that they don't move too soon. So it's tough, and that's why it's unique, and that's why if you can have a horse and bet on a horse that's won on it in the past or run well, it's good.
Watch for horses that are more tactical than horses that look like they need to go wire to wire. You will see horses that have the lead at the top of the stretch most times back out and falter late to closers.
The last time you bet a horse down the hill that you were betting because you thought he was going to go gate to wire? Never, right?
Never.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
never.
why it's tough to win on the front end. Remember last year's Breeders' Cup, the winner came from way, way back.
On the edge this week, Jeff and I were all over this pick six single, who did not disappoint. My single is your horse, and that's A Clever 10 for all the things you alluded to. Got left first time out, a little bit rank. I also think it's kind of a nice switch over to Joel Rosario. He may be able to negotiate if the horse wants to be a little rank again. The only concern, no workout since prior to that October 1 effort, September 20th at Fairplex, leading me to believe that, you know, it doesn't matter. Adam Kitchingman's too sharp, and they should be a single.
Outside draw, 3-1 on the morning line. Rosario's in the saddle. Jeff, you're up. You're single.
Same single. A Clever 10.
Really?
Really. I mean, only because I can't find anybody I'd like to try to beat her with, so why double or triple your ticket trying to use horses you don't like? Clever 10 to me is a single, and if you want to have any other single, use Bladed Bid in the 5th. Same theory. You know, if you can't single her, then who else do you
Or
use?
the analogy in the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king.
But A Clever 10, too good for them. Now striding away to win it impressively. A Clever 10 and Joel Rosario win by about 3 in the end.
When we come back, see the Stars' connections on his magnificent career.
The love of horses and doing what you do is what gets you out of bed every morning. It's just a bonus when you come across something like this one.
But the biggest news came with the announcement from John Ox that See the Stars was retired. Very disappointing news to those of us who were hoping just to get a clinging chance of seeing him in this spectacular racehorse at Santa Anita, and also for fans all over the world. I asked those who knew him best what impact this extraordinary animal had on their lives as they reflect on his remarkable accomplishments.
I hate to say he has nothing left to prove, because that's probably the wrong thing. But in a way, it's probably the only way you can describe it. I mean, he has won the Guineas, the Derby, the Arc. You know, he can't go any higher as far as European racing is concerned. I mean, we can't believe our luck, I suppose. You know, I was the son of a trainer. I grew up in a racing stable. You know, my father was, you know, a great student of racing. So, you know, I've certainly a good grasp of the history of racing and the importance of the great horses along the way. You would think to yourself, well, someday I'm going to train one of these. But, of course, you realize that, you know, you might never have a great horse. So to get one finally is, you know, means an awful lot to a family such as ours.
It's been fantastic. Saddened that the Arc is the last time I'm going to ride him, but understandable as well, I suppose. He's had a long season. I'll miss him badly. The love of horses and doing what you do is what gets you out of bed every morning. It's just a bonus when you come across something like this one.
Although Sea of the Stars isn't coming to America, Goldakova is still on her way to defend her title in the mile.
It has now been more than 10 days since Goldakova's surprise defeat in the Prix de la Forêt. It was high time for us to go pay the Breeders' Cup Mile champion a visit, and as you're about to see, she and her entourage are ready for the Breeders' Cup Mile.
She got over very well. I'm very happy. I think the race didn't take anything out of her. So for the moment, all's well. I think she's as well, even better than she was last year.
Harder on you than it was on her.
It was a bit harder on me, exactly. It's very hard, it's very hard. It's a big blow. I mean, when you get beaten with a horse like that, you know, it's a bit tough. It was a prep race, and of course, if you win, it's better. But the way to run, I think she has a lot of excuses.
Will it be a stressful next couple of weeks, or are you feeling really confident?
I am very confident, but it's always a stress, you know, when you run a field like that, especially in a race like the Breeders' Cup. I mean, there's a little tension.
Yes, before she came back to win her second Breeders' Cup, was also beaten in her.
Yes, that's very funny. I hope the story repeats. But she was beaten in a prep race in the Moulin, and I remember. Stavros Niarchos wanted to go to the stud. He didn't want to run her. And François Boutin just said, no, I want to run the Breeders' Cup and I want to keep her in training. And he kept her and she won. So, cross our fingers.
When HRTV Rewind continues, a big night for Team Russell in West Virginia.
On the outside, Russell Road just flies by about 3 horses and takes command boldly.
I believe this horse, you know, with the right kind of trip, and with Travis, we have so much confidence in him. He tends to get the extra little bit out of all the horses he rides, and So I really believe, the mile and eighth. I think we could do well.
Russell Road. Travis Dunkelberger urging him forward, and he takes command now by 4 lengths. Peaceful Bliss is second, and Danson Banker is racing third. The 23rd running of the West Virginia Breeders' Classic goes to Russell Road. Peaceful Bliss second, and Danson Banker was third. The mile and an eighth on the sloppy track goes to the only 3-year-old, and Travis Dunkelberger gets his second victory of the evening in this $500,000 classic.
On Race Day America this week, Bobby Newman stopped by to discuss the Festival of the Sun.
It's really an amazing card. We have 13 races tomorrow, and 7 of the races are stakes races, including 2 $400,000 finals of the Florida Stallion Stakes. We have the My Dear Girl division for the fillies and the In Reality division for the Colts and Geldings. We've also got a couple of graded stake races tomorrow in the Grade 3 Calder Derby and the Grade 3 Spend-A-Buck Handicap, which this year is a win-and-you're-in race for the Breeders' Cup Mile.
That certainly is big, and also for those Twin Spires Club members, they get a free beach towel if they come out on hand, huh?
Yeah, the beach towel is actually really, really nice. I don't usually get too overly excited about things that just dry me off when I'm wet. However, this beach towel is an actual artist depiction of what the new Calder Casino and Racecourse is going to look like just a few months from now. They've been under construction for the new Calder Casino, which is 104,000 square feet just to the west end of the racetrack building here at Calder, and it's going up really, really fast. And the towel itself shows what this is going to look like when it's all done. The casino, the racetrack, the palm trees, the new valet parking. And let me just tell you, if it turns out as nice as what it looks like on the beach towel, we're going to do very, very well.
Lou Raffetto also made an appearance as the steeplechase racing took center stage in New Jersey.
I think more than anything else, it's really the sport aspect and the love of the horse. Most of the owners that are involved do it because they just love steeplechasing. A lot of our owners race on the flat as well as over jumps, and it's incredible how many of them truly embrace the spirit of steeplechasing and enjoy it more than the racing at the races, at the tracks themselves. Each meet that we have is an event, and each of these events we'll have from anywhere from 5 to 50,000 people, depending on the location and the time. But the fact is that unlike racing, which is purely a business anymore, this is done in a manner that each race meet is actually a special event in that area. So I think very few people would disagree that we have a saturation of racing because of the nature of the business. And that is, if we could find a way to make racing a little bit more special again, I think that would be a big plus.
And Rafael Bejarano explains what brought him to California to become one of the circuit's best riders.
Well, this is a good story for my life, part of my life here in the United States, because, it was really hard for me when I started doing in this circuit. Well, I was starting in Indiana, Ohio, in Hoosier Park. I remember that my first transportation for me it was a bicycle that I buy, and I had to drive it for the place that I live to the racetrack. So it was a very far, like 15 miles every day. So I had to drive every day back and forth. So that was very good exercise too for me. So I'm really happy for that, and it was a very good experience.
Do you still ride a bicycle, or are you done with bicycles after that?
Well, for now, I don't have bicycle because I'm here in California. Now I drive car.
Every time you visit the Winter Circle, you've got the little salute, the peace sign, and you've got the logo on the side of your helmet. Where did that come from?
Well, they come from me. This is what I am. Peace and love, and love because I love the horses, and peace because I'm very quiet, and I like to be friendly with everybody. So, that's kind of logo that I picked.
That's it for HRTV Rewind this week, as we take a look ahead next week on HRTV.